Another stabbing in the subway. This was just before 4 this morning as a 3 train was pulling into the Nostrand Avenue and Eastern Parkway stop in Crown Heights. A 29-year-old man, the victim, stable, but police say he's being very uncooperative. Separately, the NYPD is out with a new photo of the perp in yesterday's subway slashing in the Bronx. That was on a 2 train as it was approaching the East 160th Street station. A 16-year-old was taken to the hospital in stable condition. You can see the photo of the suspect at 1010wins.com. The FDNY called to a 5-alarmer on Liberty Avenue in Jamaica, Queens Tuesday, which left a 2-story tire shop with a collapsed roof and the building next door with plenty of smoke damage. Rav Sandhu was nearby. He saw the flames break out and spoke to ABC 7.
The heat was building up. We were feeling it all the way across the street here in front of the gas station. The ball of flames was getting, much bigger. The smoke was going right into the sky.
FDNY Chief John Esposito says the fire was fueled by the tires in that store.
As they start to melt, the liquid that they create then starts to burn, and that necessitates us to use the foam to extinguish what is now like a burning liquid fire.
Took 5 hours to get under control. Everyone got out safely. One firefighter, though, suffered minor injuries. The cause under investigation. A political shakeup in Ukraine, where the foreign minister has resigned ahead of what's expected to be a reshuffling of President Volodymyr Zelensky's cabinet. This comes as at least 51 people were killed, nearly 300 others injured in a Russian attack in the Ukrainian city of Poltava. The missiles targeted a military academy.
From a military perspective, it's a legitimate target. These are military officers in training for combat. This was not a civilian area, which is often the case. Apartment buildings come down, right? But there should have been more security around this particular location. Air defenses are often put specifically to protect military installations like this. So it might be that Russia has been testing where the defenses are in Ukraine and got lucky this time, or perhaps guessed right.
In response, President Zelensky again urged allies to give Kyiv more range to use Western weapons to strike deeper into Russian territory. The Rembrandt oil painting Portrait of a Girl has just been auctioned off for $1.2 million. That was a record in the state of Maine, but this isn't a work that was hanging in a museum wall since the 17th century. No, it's one that was found not too long ago in somebody's attic. Kaja Veyu is the founder, appraiser, and auctioneer at Thomaston Place Galleries.
A painting like this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get it. So once it started rolling, there was no end in sight. It could bring anything.
Well, it did have a label on it indicating it once was a part of an exhibition at the Philadelphia Art Museum. That was in 1970.
Usually they're found in Europe, because that's where most of them were. But this one made its way to America, and in a farmhouse, and there it is. We found it.
The painting's new owner has been identified only as a private collector from Europe. Now Bloomberg Money Watch and Steve Potisk.
As the market bets on a Fed interest rate cut this month, with maybe more to come in the not-too-distant future, Susan, mortgage rates fell last week to their lowest levels since April of last year. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, the contract rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage fell slightly to 6.43%. Now, that helped to push overall mortgage demand higher, up better than 1.5%. With a strike looming at East Coast ports, talks are resuming today in New Jersey between the Longshoremen's Union and the Alliance of Carriers and Port Terminal Operators. The CEO of the huge cargo shipping company Maersk warns a dock workers' strike would cause disruptions globally. The deadline to avoid a work stoppage is September 30th. After a stock sell-off on Wall Street yesterday, S&P futures are down 23 points, NASDAQ down 137, Dow in the red by 80. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Steve Potisk for 1010 Wins and 92.3 FM.
At Northwell's Cardiovascular Institute, we treat the most hearts in the tri-state area and are proud to deliver the nation's highest cardiac success rates to our community. It's why others trust us to help them treat their patients with the most complex conditions. And with hundreds of experts working together in every cardiac specialty across Northwell, all New Yorkers can access our care, making it available to you wherever you live. Visit northwell.edu/yourheart. Northwell. Raise health.
Attention all downtown New York City workers. The new 9/11 Notice Act requires Lower Manhattan businesses to notify employees of their rights under the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund. If you worked in Lower Manhattan on or after 9/11, you should have received your notice by now. If you haven't, call the 9/11 lawyers at Hansen and Rosesco. We can explain your rights and determine if you're eligible for a tax-free award and lifetime health care from the $10 billion fund. Call 844-983-5454. That's 844-983-5454. Attorney advertising.
Building big readers in Brooklyn, conquering chemistry in Queens, shaking up STEM in Staten Island. In every corner of every borough, New York City public schools are ready for an exciting new year.
This is Michael Mulgrew, president of the United Federation of Teachers, the UFT. The new school year is always filled with big challenges and bold ideas, new friends and familiar faces. And the heart of our public schools, the dedicated educators and staff, never miss a beat.
Working side by side to create classrooms that are welcoming and safe, lifting students up by meeting them where they are. But the hard work starts long before the first bell rings.
We're working to lower class sizes and won't stop until all our students get the resources they need to succeed. Alongside parents and the community, we'll keep on making New York City public schools a place where every child in every neighborhood can learn, grow, and thrive.
A message from the UFT.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Another gorgeous day in the city, 62 degrees, sunny skies, the humidity now 67%, winds are calm, sunshine later today and up to 77. Good morning, I'm Susan Richard. WINS News Time, 8:30.
And a very good Wednesday morning. We made it to the middle of the week. It was quick because of Labor Day. I'm Scott Stanford. A former top aide to Governor Hochul and her husband were in court yesterday to face charges for allegedly acting as an agent of the Chinese government.
The feds say there was a lot happening with Linda's son and her husband behind the scenes when she was Governor Hochul's deputy chief of staff, helping China at the expense of New York and being rewarded handsomely for it with millions from the Chinese government. Her husband, Chris Hu, is alleged to have set up bank accounts in a relative's name to take in the money.
We have a lot of confidence in our case,
says their attorney, Sept Ducharme. Prosecutors say other perks from the Chinese government for political favors included travel benefits and their $4 million Manhasset home. Both have pleaded not guilty and are out on bond. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 WINS on 92.3 FM at Brooklyn Federal Court.
A spokesperson for the governor says son was fired last year after evidence of her misconduct was discovered and that her actions were immediately reported to the authorities. WINS News Time, 8:31. Traffic and transit. Speaking of immediately reporting, what do we got going on those roads, Sue Aller?
We're going to report an accident. It is on the Brooklyn-bound Verrazano Bridge lower level. It takes out the right and center lanes. It is stop and go. The Staten Island Expressway eastbound is just jam-packed from the West Shore Expressway. And here's what you need to know about the rest of the bridges and tunnels. The New Jersey-bound Outer Bridge crossing, the left lane is blocked with another crash. So here, definitely stick with the Goethals Bridge. Now, inbound George, upper level, just under an hour. You've got 35 minutes to the lower level, plus 35 minutes from all the other approaches. Inbound Lincoln is also 35, and 45 to 50 minutes at the inbound side of the Holland Tunnel. Here's what we see along Island's Big Three. Go with the Northern, because the LIE westbound, you got a crash at the Seaport Bay Expressway. Westbound Southern, an accident at Belmont Avenue, and that takes out the right lane. Then another crash into Route 110, and in New Jersey, northbound 287, right at exit 58 in Oakland, a crash. At least one lane is down, and still working on a collision on 78 eastbound at exit 56 in Newark. It's in the local lanes, takes out the left lane, go with the express lanes. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones, and breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Sue Aller, 1010 WINS on 92.3 FM.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this quick snippet of today's news. We appreciate your views. We've got 25 historians now subscribed to the channel. So if you are a historian that has subscribed, I thank you. Our mission is to record history for future generations so that people 40, 50 years from now can look back on these videos and these snippets for laughs and giggles and enjoy a quick historical snippet through the past. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode.